Hey Donovan, you guys have been so confident that even when Evan comes back and Darius comes back and the personnel is different than what it has been during this stretch, that you can play the same kind of style and you can have the same kind of success. Why was that, and what does tonight show you guys, if anything?
I'm not going to be I don't mean to come off as a wise ass when I say this, but we kind of know what we're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like we've seen it. Like, we've seen it, especially like camp, beginning of the year, like before the injuries started to, kind of come about. We've seen it. We saw it like so many different times and throughout camp. And I think that was the biggest thing. We've seen it work. We've seen it, translate. And now it's starting to come to light. Obviously it's come in different forms, whether it's me being out for 5 games, then it's, Ev, then it's DG, then it's Karis, like, then you see Sam come about, you see Craig, emerge, you're seeing it from so many different ways, and now I think you're gonna continuously see it as guys come back. But I think that's been the reason why we're so confident about it. It'll take some adjustments, obviously things aren't just gonna click seamlessly, but things are going to, head the way because we have so many different guys that can do different things, but when you lose 2 guys like Ev and DG, for guys to step up, one, but also understand that, like, when they come back, I think that speaks to the character and the locker room vibes. Understanding that when guys come back, like, those minutes aren't going to be the same, but understanding that when your time is called, to be ready. Not like tonight, Samuel played 7 minutes. Who knows what that happens, the next game. But being okay and being ready when your time is called, I think is the biggest thing.
Have you allowed yourself to start envisioning with Darius's return on the horizon what you guys can become full strength, and if so, what does that look like to you?
I think with DG, I think it's even more seamless because the way we've been playing fits him. Like, I'm saying, he's the guy who can get downhill, create, shoot off the catch. I think that's a no-brainer just because of his abilities and his style of play. You know what I mean? I think one thing we'll definitely miss, what we've missed, is the lob passes. That's for sure. He's definitely better at that than I am. But definitely finding ways to just continue to create and get open shots, and that's his game. You know what I mean? So I don't think that'll be tough at all. I think it'll be something that's, if anything, it's more gravity, going that way. So there'll be more shots, more open shots, and more open lanes to drive and find ways to get there.
Hey,
Jackson.
So this might have been your last game as the starting point guard. What have you really learned about your game, and how have you developed in this time?
I'm gonna say what I said before. That what I work on is it's basically just coming to fruition. Like, our biggest thing is I've been doing this in spurts. So I think now it's just the continuous work that I've put in. And showing. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm ready for whatever's called. That's kind of my job as the guy to be able to do whatever it takes on a nightly basis. And very welcome when DG comes back because it's tough. I'm not gonna lie, it's tough. It's fun, but it's also it's a lot of work, and I've put the time in and put the work in. And my teammates trust me. My teammates make plays, make my life easier too. So when you have a guy like DG come back, man, I'm excited for that just because I've not only have I grown, but he's going to continue to do what he does. Now you add that that 2-headed monster on the offensive end. I think it'll be something that will be very tough to defend.
So you kind of just said it was a little tougher. Like, what about?
Just from a fatigue standpoint, you get tired when you have to do, you dominate the ball as much. And that's just something that, this is probably one of the longer stretches. I've done it in playoff series before, but I think this is one of the longer stretches. But what's made it easier is being able to just, outlet the ball, have the ball come back quick, swing, like thinking the game in that way. And also that just allows you to think the game from a whole different perspective. So even when, I do move back to the 2, it's the same thing. It's like, cool, get off it quick. Now the next guy attacks downhill. They help. Now it's a swing. Like, there's so many different ways than just being like the guy who walks it up the floor and kind of goes about it. So it's taught me and shown me a lot of things that I've seen on film that I think I've allowed to implement in my game. And I think just from a fatigue standpoint, I think when I say tough, that's probably the toughest part. Just getting used to that. But I've been doing it for a while, so I think I'm pretty used to it now. But I think that's probably one of the tougher parts is being able to consistently on a nightly basis do that.
Okay.
When you're able to close out a tough physical game like that as a team, what do you take away from that moving forward into the next game? How do you feed off of this kind of game?
I think the biggest thing, we got stops. We executed down the stretch. We had some things that were clean up, in the late 5:38ish, starting with the 2 free throws that I missed. But understanding that that what we saw tonight is will be what we see, you know, in the playoffs. You know, kind of sometimes a small ball, sometimes stagnant. You know, being able to create and continue to get motion in those moments, and we were able to do that. We made plays down the stretch, and then defensively we made plays, got rebounds. You got guys like Russell Westbrook, Paul George, whoever's down there just trying to fight for rebounds while they know the guys like Kawhi Leonard is going to shoot the ball. So, you know, kind of having those different things in those moments, you know, in these games, you know, continue to build on those because that's what ultimately we're going to see come April and May.
Have you seen growth as a team in that from even last season into this one?
Yeah, I think, you know, understanding each other a little bit better. I think the biggest thing is also the rebounds. Like you look at Jared Allen, like what he was able to do, especially late, like grabbing those rebounds, not losing them, even though they're probably getting fouled, but they're not calling them. You know what I mean? So understanding that that's what it's going to take, that type of effort on a night-to-night basis is going to be what it takes to win.
Ethan.
Donovan, you mentioned in the locker room briefly about how good Isaac's been on the defensive end. Can you expand on that and why you think he should be all NBA first team defense?
Yeah, I think he takes the challenge every night. You know why he's there. You know, it's kind of one of those things. He has like his own coverage. It's like you know, he does his own thing, and we let him just because we know he's going to, you know, dominate, you know, his matchup every night. You know, I think, and that's when that doesn't really, it's not spoken about, which it kind of pisses me off that it's not spoken about, just because he's a guy that's what he does, and he deserves a lot more credit. We give credit to the two bigs as we should. You know, they are phenomenal. You know what they do, but I think a guy like Isaac Okoro, we pay attention to. And even like tonight, he goes 3 for 4 from three-point line. But we pay attention to, maybe he can't shoot, maybe he can't knock down a shot, but we forget what he's really good at and elite at. And I think that's kind of what the mainstream thing is, to kind of not think about, you know, what he does really well. And you look at what he's doing on a night-to-night basis and making it tough on guys continuously, and it doesn't matter who it is. You know what I mean? And being able to understand that, sometimes not get the shots that he ultimately wants, and still be able to put an effort in defensively. Still go out there on a night-to-night basis knowing that his job is going to impact us in a winning way that probably won't get talked about, which is unfortunate, which is why I'm so heavy on that. He deserves the recognition because this is, year four in the league, and I've seen the growth in just a year. I think they deserve to be talked about. They put the work and they put the time in, and they're showing it on a consistent basis. You know, they've shown it when we've lost 36 points and however many rebounds and assists with DG, and have like, you know, a guy like Isaac Okoro goes 5 of 10 from the field, 3 or 4 from 3, makes all his free throws, has 17 points, and, you know, holds different matchups. I don't know what the numbers are, but like, you know, like that's impressive against a team like the Clippers, who have been phenomenal. You know what I mean? Does the same thing against the Bucks with Dame. Like these aren't just like teams that everybody expects us to be. These are teams that are championship caliber teams, and he's doing this against guys who are top 75 players, Hall of Famers, whatever you want to call them. And I think that's just been why I feel like, you know, I have to say it, because I feel like those guys won't say it about themselves. I respect that about them, but ultimately, they deserve recognition for the work they've been doing.
Last two, period, Nate.
Donovan, obviously, you'd rather have Darius and Evan out there with you, but JB talked about, you know, Evan kind of embracing the injury as like there's a silver lining in it. You guys have kind of found this identity with yourself. Some other guys that were more role players have emerged. Just what was there a silver lining that you guys found on the opposite side of it without those guys out there?
100%. I think it gave guys opportunities that, like I said, we knew, you know, that they were like we knew Sam was able to shoot. I wouldn't say I was expecting to hit 8 threes in Orlando like that's consistently we're having 30, but like, you know, we knew he could shoot. Craig Porter, being able to see what he can step up in moments and be unfazed, you know, I think that's the biggest thing. You look at George has been able to develop back into his form. Dean Wade's been phenomenal. So now you have all that. On the bench, Karras has been phenomenal, 6th Man of the Year candidate. Like, you look at all that, and then you add 36 points, however many assists, and like 15 rebounds, whatever it is. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you add that back to what we already have. And then also you add, like I said, with adding those 2 guys back, you have guys that understand that minutes are going to shrink. Times in game are going to be different, but also being okay with that.